Greetings, comic book fans. I'm Jason. It is the 31st of October 2017, and you are watching Comic Book Flashback, the very first edition of Comic Book Flashback, if you will. Now, I've been doing videos for about 4 or 5 years now, and I got into this because I have nobody in real life that likes comics, so there's nobody for me to talk to when I've read these great books. So I discovered on YouTube Ghost Critic and Sleepy Reader 666. Love their videos. Two guys who go and check them out. They're still the Premier League of comic book videos. Sleepy Reader recently has been doing a thing where he tries to do a video every day, which has been tremendously entertaining. I would mount my brain to even kind of think of content every day, but he manages it. The dude is awesome. So yeah, Sleepy Reader 666, Ghost Critic, two guys to check out. They're great. But watching their videos, it kind of struck me that this could be a great outlet for my opinions on comics. So I thought, I'm going to do this. I did not expect anybody to watch my videos. You know, come on, I'm a bold fat dude. Who's going to want to watch me talk about comics when there's people much more educated on the subject, much more elegant with their speech, and much more prettier than I am. So, like, why is anybody going to waste their time watching me? But I did get views, and I was like over the moon. Because, like I say, the prime thing was an outlet for my opinions, but that people came back every week for those opinions was fantastic. And like, I was never megally popular like Sleepy Reader or Ghost Critic. But like, I was happy with what I was getting. I had about 50 views a week, and I was chuffed with that, you know. Recently, the views have really dropped, and I've kind of got to look at, is it my content that's done that? Because, like I say, and this is the tricky thing. It's like the main mission, the prime directive, if you will, is this is an outlet for my opinions on comics. But it is nice when you put time and love into something, and that time and love is returned. So I kind of looked at my video, and like, my comic haul weekly video still seems to do okay, but my comic book overload, which is like my comic book reviews video, that hasn't been doing well at all. And I kind of got to look, is it the format? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shake things up. Every week on a Wednesday or Thursday, I will have my comic haul weekly video showing the books I've picked up that week. Then at least every fortnight, maybe every week, but at least every fortnight on a Friday, Saturday or Sunday, I will upload a comic book reviews video, depending how quickly I've read my books. So yeah, probably be more likely to be Saturday or Sunday I'll do that video. And then on a Monday or Tuesday, I will do comic book flashback. Now, the difference between this and comic book reviews is the reviews is going to be the up-to-date books. So anything within the last 2 weeks, I will review in that video. Anything older than 2 weeks will go into the flashback video. Every week in this video, in the description below, I will have the list of books I'm talking about, and I will have the date of when they were released. So you can kind of see what's there if it's something that interests you. But if you want up-to-date stuff, just check out my comic book review video. If you just want to see comics talked about and it doesn't matter on the dates, just really click on anything. But if you want to see a specific older book, Flashback's the place to look. So that's the ideas. We'll see how this goes. So today, getting down to business, I've got this pile of books to talk about. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books to talk about today. And we're going to kick it off with Marvel, and it's pretty much a lot of Marvel books to talk about today. We have Marvel Legacy book. This is the first book of this series that's been a legacy book, and it is the all-new Wolverine, issue number 25. I like how the covers of these Marvel Legacy books, you have the little face in the corner. Very old school, really like that. When I first started buying comics in the 80s, that's like how they used to be, so I like that. I also like that they've got the title of the story running along the top. I don't know if every issue is going to have that, but I like that a lot because as a collector, if you're looking for a specific story, it makes it so much easier. Or even if you're going somewhere to buy back issues and like you're looking for maybe a specific story arc, you can see it straight away. So I like that. I think that's a really good idea. DC have been doing that with their Rebirth books, and I always think if the idea is good, follow it. So we have Laura Kinley. She's now Wolverine. Logan is dead, or maybe. And so she took his place as Wolverine, and that's his son, Draken, Wolverine's son. So the story, I don't really know that much about Draken. So he's a character who's a bit of a mystery to me, but he's been in this book before. The story, we kick off in the past with Logan getting the sword, and there's this mysterious shield. We then jump to present day and a bar fight involving Draken. We then jump to see Laura with Gabby. Gabby's her clone. She's a version of her, but a younger version who's been cloned from Laura. And somebody's found Draken's arm, and like she detects this scent on the arm that tells her it's from the place that made her, and she has to go back and kind of come face to face with her nightmares before we get a twist at the end. I enjoyed this. I thought this was a good read. I liked it because I felt if there was a new reader, because I've been reading this since they kicked this book off, and I really like Laura as Wolverine. But if you was new to this book, if because of the whole legacy thing you're trying it out, I think this would be a great place to jump in because it gives introduction into who she is, sets up the cast of characters who are in a book, as well as setting up the story and the mystery of the story. So I think they pulled this off really well, and I liked everything they did. And the twist at the end, I'm really interested to see how that's going to go, and if that's true or is it a clone. I'm super intrigued to see what's going to happen there. And the book left me wanting to know more. I wanted to know what happened next, which I think that's always a successful book. If you do see me keep looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. I found all these legacy books have a recap thing at the back. These 3 pages at the back just kind of recap the character's origin, and gives you some information on them. So far, the ones we've had in other legacy books, I've not found that useful, but I think I knew a lot more about those characters. There's still a lot more about Laura's past I didn't know. Like the whole thing about if she's a clone, how come she's got a mother and a family if she was a clone? I didn't quite get that. But this really explains that. The 3 pages at the back really explain all of that and really did a good job of kind of catching you up on who she is and her past. So I really like that. I thought that was a really productive use of them. I kind of think it is a debate whether that should be at the back or the front. Yeah, should you read that at the beginning, like this is who the character is, or is it in a good place at the end to catch you up? I don't know. I can understand them wanting the story first and then the recap into the character, but then I can also understand the viewpoint of know the character, then know the story. So I'm conflicted on that whole thing. So yeah, I don't know which way to go with that one. Yeah, so I think that's everything I want to say on the book. I enjoyed this. If you're intrigued by the series, I think this is definitely a good place to start. And I'd give All New Wolverine issue 25 8 out of 10. So next up, we move over to Titan Comics, and we have Doctor Who: The Lost Dimension special number 1. This is a current crossover story they're doing with that they usually do once a year with all the Doctor Who books. And basically, what they've done so far has been really interesting in that they've all been separate stories. All of the books with the Doctor in that book, as the Doctor kind of these strange kind of white light things turning up and making everything around them disappear. And the Doctor is kind of the different versions of the Doctor have kind of been caught up in this. And I like how they've done it in that, like, all the stories have been separate stories, and then this anomaly has turned up. And it's kind of like how you'd see the TV series did stuff like Bad Wolf and Torchwood and stuff by teasing it throughout the season to get the answer at the end. And they've kind of done this with this crossover and all these separate stories that are kind of linked by this main thing. And I think that's a very interesting way to have run this event, and it's definitely different than how they've done events in previous years, where right from the start all the characters are together. So I didn't get in buying this book. I didn't know. I got a clue from the cover that it was going to be the 4th Doctor, but I didn't quite know for sure who it was going to be. So I opened it up, and the story says River Song, and I'm like, oh god. Now, it's not that I dislike River Song. I do think the character was a bit overdone by the end. But my overriding memory of River Song is that dreadful Christmas special they did. I think was it the Husbands of River Song? It was called. I think it was. I really did not like that one. I think it's the first Doctor Who Christmas special that I fell asleep during. I'm usually like wide awake enjoying them, and this was one that I fell asleep and did not enjoy. And in fact, I can tell you the whole family fell asleep. That is not a good old. That is not the thing you want to say like, oh yeah, this episode can send your family to sleep. That's never a good thing. And okay, maybe Christmas Turkey had an influence on me falling asleep, but I don't usually fall asleep during Christmas Doctor Who's. Um, so my heart went down a bit, but I read it and I actually really enjoyed it. And I don't know if it's because it was good or if it was just because my expectations were so low that I ended up enjoying it. It was okay, so I was satisfied. It's kind of like a sci-fi version of Indiana Jones, with River being Indiana Jones. She has a student who has a thesis, and she says you need like the practical, and she takes him to the place, and you're not allowed to be there to see if his thesis is correct, and it kind of lands them in all kinds of trouble. And there's a nice appearance from Silurian, and I loved it. I really enjoyed that whole story. It was fun. It ends with to be continued, so I think it's going to be picked up in one of the other books. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good book. Really good story there. Then the second story, um, which was I felt was even better. We have the fourth Doctor, Romana, and they're beamed aboard this space. These two spaceships are fighting to beam them aboard. So they pick one to be beamed aboard, and it's got protons on board. Um, awesome. Um, we then have like protons, and then Quarks show. I think they were called. Were they Quarks? I think that weren't they in the episode The Dominators? I'm not sure. Or was that Crow? No. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I've got to go and watch back and watch some Second Doctor stories. So that was really cool. So they start fighting each other, and then these other spaceships appear from another universe, and it's got Ogrons, and so these three races are from separate universes. And the Doctor kind of theorizes that like the reason that they became the top dogs in their universe and were able to conquer so much was because there were no Daleks in their universes. And so it ends up with him kind of doing the whole spiel about I'm the man that beat the Daleks, and the Daleks are the creatures that have beaten all of you and made you stay to your respective parts of the galaxy. You know, do you really want to be in front of this man right now trying to do this? And like while I enjoyed the story and the callbacks to like former villains and seeing them in a universe with no Daleks and how these three races had kind of became much bigger and more of a threat, I did kind of find that end a bit too modern Doctor Who. I kind of felt like the Tom Baker fourth Doctor. I don't know, would he have dealt with it like that? I think he would have come up with some clever way to beat them all. But I'm like, I'm not. I just don't know. I don't know. It's kind of the bravado you could see the fourth Doctor doing, but then at the same time, it just seems to me that's more of a modern thing, awareness, because it was only like the first Doctor who encountered the Daleks. They did not know yet. It wasn't until the fourth Doctor that he knew what a big threat the Daleks could become in time. So I don't know. Where like when we get to like the 10th Doctor, I could totally, yeah, or the 11th especially, or even the 12th, I could see them doing this, but I don't know. I just wasn't sure if it fit for that Doctor. If I'm totally honest. But seeing all these characters, these like races, alien races show up, it is a classic Whovian's dream come true, and really pulled off brilliantly. So yeah, I enjoyed this book, and going into it not really knowing much, initially bit down, but then I thought the book came out really strong, really enjoyed it, and I'd give this 10 out of 10. It was a lot of fun. Next up, we have Iron Fist, issue 73. I think the previous issue to this was like number 9, but they do have a thing inside the book that kind of explains how Marvel Legacy have done the numbering for Iron Fist. So I thought that was good. And I don't know what they are, but each book has got like these stamps. I do not know what they're supposed to be, but I like them. I like them a lot. So this issue is like kicks off a brand new story, and of course, I think it was in this book that Sabretooth made his first appearance. So we kind of return to Iron Fist and Sabretooth, and basically Iron Fist has had this book stolen. We have this villain that really wants to take over Kunlun, so he needs to kill Iron Fist to be able to do this, because Iron Fist is the protector of Kunlun. So he's coming to America, and he needs this book, because this book Kunlun only appears every 10 years. But with this book, you can get there anytime. And Iron Fist was keeping the book safe because he has this dragon that he needs to return to Kunlun that he's keeping in his house at the current time. So he was hoping to use the book to get this dragon back home. But then the book gets stolen, so he goes to Sabretooth because for some reason the guy that stole it knows Sabretooth or has a history with Sabretooth. And then we get to see at the end who that character is who's returned from the dead. I didn't know what links that character had to Sabretooth. That was must have been something in a comic I missed. I didn't know they were so intertwined. So that was a bit of a let go. I did like the villains. You've got like some of the names of the villains in this. I should have written them down because. So you have Heel of Blessed Waters. You have Long-Armed Bull and a Rat of 12 Plagues. You know, the names in this are just brilliant, and like they remind me of those old kung fu movies I'd watch as a kid. So I liked all of that. I thought that was really cool. And like the whole thing about Iron Fist having a dragon in his house, that was cool as well. And Perkins' art, Mike Perkins' art is just really, really nice in this. Um, I really think that he is a underrated artist. I've seen him in a couple of series now, and his art is always very consistent. So I really like the art in this, and this was a lot of fun. I thought it was a good setup for the series. Apart from not really understanding the whole thing with Sabretooth, the rest of the story I like, and I thought this was a good start. And if you love those old kung fu movies from the 70s, 80s, this is one worth checking out. And I'd give Iron Fist 73, 8 out of 10. So next up we have the Silver Surfer issue number 7. Oh God, I'm sorry, I was meant to do all the dates of these coming out. Let me go back. So All New Wolverine and Doctor Who. Both of these books came out on the 11th of October. And this book came out on the 4th of October. I'm sorry about that. I meant to do that for each one, kind of tell you the dates they came out. So now, this book is a bit of an older book. Not really old, but compared to 26th of October 2016, it came out a year ago. And like, it's good. Like, it's sad this book is just finished, and I've really enjoyed Dan Slott and Mike Holden's run of this book. But it's nice sometimes being behind because I've still got like 7 issues left to read, so that's really cool. This book just remains all kinds of fun. The art always gives the art and the colour gives the book such a fun feel. The old ones do such a great job with it, and I do kind of get a Kirby vibe whenever I read Old Run, particularly, and also the way the books are coloured, which is always a good thing. You know, a Kirby vibe in any book is a good thing. I like the idea in this story of the Casino Cosmico. Like the whole gist of the story is that Silver Surfer feels that he's been hurting Dawn, so he tries to take it to all these safe places, so he doesn't cause her no more hurt. But then she kind of susses him out, so she calls him on it, and so he takes her to this casino where you can gamble anything, and it's none other than the Grandmaster who runs the casino, and he basically he wants the Silver Surfer, so he's going to make him gamble everything away to earn him. So I like this casino where you gamble things, and like they kind of realize a bit wrong when people are gambling memories and stuff, and like they win this person's a precious memory for this person, and like, wait a minute, I didn't want that. What's going on? And it's like, so I liked that, how it's like all going along really nice and happy, and then suddenly there's this kind of sinister turn, and the drama is escalated. I really liked how they pulled that off. Also, I love the way Silver Surfer at the end beats Grandmaster. I thought it was really clever, really well realized. But all in all, this book just is it's a lot of fun. If I had one gripe, the whole thing where she's like arguing with Silver Surfer and wants him to take to places more dangerous, I kind of felt he had a change of heart too quickly for me. But maybe for the story they had to do that. But that was the only part of the book that I felt was off. The rest of the book I just really enjoyed and would undoubtedly give this 8 out of 10. Really good stuff. We then have Black Hammer issue number 3, and this was released. This is another book from way back, 21st of September 2016. I'm glad I kept picking this one up because I know there will come a point I was so far behind. I was like, oh, should I just drop this because I've never really performed a band with it. But I'm glad I didn't because the more I pick it up, every issue I just really enjoy. The story is about this group of heroes who, due to some big battle, they can't return to their town. They physically can't get to their town. They have to stay in this little country village, and they're kind of trying to build new lives. But I've got their own different struggles going on. This issue features a lot on Barbarian, the warlord of Mars, and we get to find out a lot more about him, which I really liked. The thing that always amazes about this book is it's only 3 issues in, but already I care so deeply about some of the characters in this book, and I think that's a fantastic feat of writing to pull off, to make you care about characters that so deeply, that quickly. I think it's brilliant. I really liked learning a lot more about Barbarian. I liked the nods to Martian Manhunter with the names. I thought that was a nice touch, and I also kind of like the whole deal with him as well. That kind of reminds me a bit of Aquaman in that, like, he come to Earth and he lived amongst us and feels in many ways he belongs to 2 worlds, but he doesn't really fit into either of them. And I like that, and that's kind of reminds me like with Aquaman, with Atlantis, and with the surface world, and how he's trying to fit into 2 worlds and doesn't quite work for him. So I like that vibe from him as well, and I thought he became knowing more about him, he's become a much more interesting character. Because so far, it was Abe Slam, and I'm trying to think of the other character's name, or Golden Gale are the 2 main characters that I really liked. But this issue I thought, and Walkie Talkie, the robot, he's really cool. But this issue I thought Barbarian I really like him now, and kind of like interspersed with his origin story, we also get like current day stuff that's going on with Abe kind of contemplating taking his girlfriend to meet the family, which he's a bit nervous about because nobody knows that they were these superheroes because they've tried to keep it incognito. And I love the interaction between Tammy and Abe. I thought that was really nice. It reminded me of a conversation a real couple would have, so I thought that was good. And all in all, this book just remains really good, and I'd give Black Hammer issue number 3 9 out of 10. So next up, and I'm going to make this quick because this book I was not impressed with at all. We have X-Men Gold issue number 11. This was released on the 6th of September 2017, and I dropped this book, but I decided to pick it back up because it was doing a tie-in with XMen Blue, and so I thought I'd catch up on this because I'd only missed like before the crossover. I think it was like maybe 4 issues, so I thought I'll pick those 4 issues up and kind of get up to date with it. This was the 3rd of those 4 issues, and boy, did this book remind me why I dropped it. There's a good story hiding here, but it feels too rushed. You don't get no depth. You get this relative of Colossus who's double crossing him, but we don't really ever get to understand that character or his motives. Is he just a bad person? Is he seduced by the guy that's in charge of the criminal organization he works for? Does he have a beef with Piotr? Does he think with Piotr? Because there's a comment he makes at the end. It makes you think that maybe he thinks Piotr has forgotten what it is to be Russian and has become too Americanized. There's like all these questions, but you don't get to know anything about him. I thought Omega Red, it could have been anybody, and I thought to waste the return of Omega Red for this story, I thought was, like I say, a waste. So yeah, and then there's characters in the book that don't really seem to be doing anything. We'll come in a bit to another book. that is using its team characters much better. In this book, like, characters have just not got much story at all. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy that at all. I liked seeing Piotr and Kitty get back together, but again, it just feels rushed and sudden when a few issues ago she wasn't sure. And okay, your battle kind of makes you see things in a different perspective, but it still just felt like she went from cold to hot. It just a really quick amount of time, and there wasn't that time, where we really cemented stuff happening. Um, However, it was good to see Magic again. I really like her character. She was a character that I never really cared that much for, but in recent years, I think they've done some really good and interesting stuff with her. So she's now a character I really like, and I miss her being in an X-Men book. But all in all, this wasn't good. Unless you're like a completist, I'd avoid it. And I'd give X-Men Gold issue number 11 4 out of 10. And finally, we've reached the end. It is X-Men Blue issue number 10, and this was a lot better. The main thing that I love about this book is, this was released on the 30th of August 2017. The main thing I love about this book is how all the characters have something going on. Angel is helping Jimmy to find where he comes from. Iceman, he's got the broken heart blues, as the love of his life hasn't been texting him back, and he doesn't know what's going on. Cyclops and Jean are now cyclically linked, and that's kind of stirring up all kinds of feelings. And Hank is going to the dark side and dealing with occult magic. So, every character's got something going on. We have new characters that have been added to the book with Danger and Polaris. So you've got the whole Polaris Magneto situation, and that's kind of dealt with this issue and how like that dynamic's going to work. We've got Danger now trying to train the team. So like there's all these like interesting that's been added to the book, and I just think the book's really running on all cylinders and it's really well written. The art is really nice in this. I don't recognise the artist, Giovanni Valletta, but I really like the art in this. And it's just good. Hank's on a dangerous path as well, which is a bit disturbing, but we've seen this teased for like a number of issues that he's going down this dark road. But what I like this issue is we kind of get a moment where we get inside Hank's head and why is he doing this? Why is he so driven towards this? And it makes a lot of sense, and I like that. I like that a lot, how they explain that. Like I say as well, the new editions, they're proving really, really adding to the book. So, but I think the thing like I've already mentioned that I love about the book, and I think what makes it such a good team book is every character's got something going on. And like when you look at X-Men Gold, and I think you've got a story there that felt rushed, and you've got characters like Storm. I don't think she's had a story yet. We're 11 issues into it. Nor really Old Man Logan hasn't really done anything. It's been mainly about Kitty and Piotr with a little bit Nightcrawler prestige on the side. But otherwise, not really that much. Where this book I think done a much better job. So I'd give X-Men Blue, issue number 10, 8 out of 10. So there we go, that's me done. Hopefully in future these videos will be shorter. I'm sorry about the length. Yeah. But I will be back when I will be back. It should be back for a comic haul video. But we'll see how life goes. I kind of want to get out of this habit of saying after the end of each video, I'll be back then. Because whenever I say that, it never works out like that. So it kind of makes that bit a bit redundant. But anywho, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. All it leaves me to say is that I've been Jason. You've been watching the first episode of Comic Book Flashback. Keep reading, and bye for now.